everybody, Jason and John here, Everyday Crypto. Jason, how you doing?
John, I'm doing great today. How are you doing?
You know what? I'm gonna make it. I just decided. I appreciate you taking some time sitting down with me. Boy, we're gonna get into some cool stuff today, man. Cool and scary and dreadful maybe. I wanted to get you on a call today and record this for everybody that loves this channel. I want to talk about we're gonna talk about OPEC. We're gonna talk about global game theory, and we're gonna pat ourselves a little bit on the back for some predictions we made close to a year ago. So hopefully you're up for that.
I'm in for it. Yeah. If I could, please, if you find any entertainment or educational value in this at all, please like and subscribe. It helps us help you, and we are not financial advisors. Always do your own research. You want to start off, or you want me to?
Yeah, no, I'll jump in. Yeah,
Yeah.
with everything going on in the world right now, I'm looking at the news today. They're talking about OPEC. They're talking about all these nations sort of doing some funny business, and I'm like, boy, this sounds very familiar. I went back and looked at some old episodes of ours, and you kind of you made some predictions a while ago that are starting to just sort of now, like, you couldn't have been more right. So
Yeah, it's very interesting. So a year ago, me and you started talking about why Bitcoin wouldn't ever become illegal or regulated to the extent people were fearful of. And our answer was, it's simple, global game theory. You would never give your opposition an unfair advantage. That's game theory in general, and it applies to like a lot of different things. A good example of this would be China. When the internet came out, China banned the internet, and it gave a advantage to all of its competitors and a 10-year leadway on technological growth.
right,
And the world witnessed it, and they probably learned a lesson from it. So this is now coming into play, which we predicted.
mm-hmm.
So currently, the global reserve standard is the dollar,
right,
which gives America a lot of power and a lot of manipulation.
mm-hmm.
We control the global trade, and we dominate, and we can easily affect the way certain countries can even survive. Like, for example, we put sanctions on like Cuba,
Mm-hmm.
and their economy has been horrible ever since, right?
right,
So Putin's been very verbal about this, and so has China, that they have full intent on taking the dollar off the global reserve standard.
wow,
And it benefits them greatly.
mm-hmm.
So, and even some of our allies who aren't verbal about it, they want the same thing. OPEC, like last week, OPEC decided to decrease oil production by something crazy, like 2 million barrels a week or a
Right.
day, whatever it
A
was.
day, yeah, mm-hmm.
And that's when we were asking them for help,
right,
because we know if we can get the price of oil down, we can get inflation down, and all these problems kind of go away.
for sure,
But when Russia invaded Ukraine, we implemented financial warfare.
right,
Russia, in turn, implemented energy warfare. Right? They stopped providing oil to our friends in Europe,
right,
which is creating them all kinds of problems. And I can't help but to think that that's what happened last week. OPEC saw a chance to flex some power and get what they want, which is, they've always wanted this thing called the petrodollar,
mm-hmm.
which, oil will be traded not on the US dollar, but the petrodollar, which would give them a ton of power.
sure,
So this leads us to BRICS, BRICS.
right,
BRICS is the counterpart to the IMF, and it consists of China, India, South America, Russia. It might be a couple other countries that I'm forgetting,
sure.
but it's 42% of the world's population.
Right,
So it is a formidable force. It really is.
sure,
And they've made it very public that their main goal is to get the dollar off the global standard. And what they want is and what they're fast tracking, like, this isn't a slow process. They are really doing this fast.
yeah,
They want a new global standard that consists of a basket of currencies.
okay,
And that's what they're aiming for. And it's all very interesting. I'll be honest with you. And it's also no coincidence that all these same countries in the last couple of months have fast-tracked Bitcoin, accepting Bitcoin at the very least for international trade.
Right.
But in places like India, they're taking it way further than that. Like India is actually ahead of America as far as crypto adoption. Like they're numbers 3 or number 4 on the list, and we're right behind them.
Okay.
So they're trying, and them and the OPEC nations are trying to become extremely crypto friendly. Like they're very fast tracking this thing. Like, and the reason why they're doing this is because they know America's reaction to this is going to be financial warfare. We're going to try and drown out their currencies and their economies.
Right.
But they know if they can get on the Bitcoin standard, that takes away America's ability to do so.
Right.
And this whole thing's playing out very fast and pretty aggressively, and it's interesting.
You mentioned a basket of cryptocurrency. What do you mean by that? Just like not just one sort of coin, but is that?
So it's a basket of currencies.
Oh, currencies. Okay.
And I imagine it'll consist of something like all the major players: Brazil, India, Russia, China, South America.
Yeah.
Then they'll probably throw in some stabilizers in there, like Bitcoin, gold, things like that. Something that would take away the fluctuations, because that's what they don't want.
Right.
So I imagine it'll look like something like that. And if they do throw Bitcoin in there, you will see Bitcoin go to $1 million very fast.
Mm-hmm. Well, which is great for investors, right? But when you sort of look at these things globally, we talked in a previous episode a year ago now, about how crypto sort of levels the playing field, and I know we were specifically talking about investors and Joe Blow on the street who can now play the game with the big people, but it also levels the playing field when it comes to warfare. It takes away a lot of our chess pieces when we lose that financial ability to sanction people, essentially, or countries rather.
100%, John. You nailed it.
Yeah.
Say there's a couple of things I take away from this, right? For one, I'm watching like the best soap opera ever. I've been watching it for almost a year now, right? Like this is amazing, and I never get a day off because things just keep happening. So the world is changing so fast due to the chaos that the pandemic created.
Right.
And the pandemic has exposed all the cracks in the financial structures.
Right.
Right. We are living like fiat currency is a dinosaur. Mm-hmm. The SWIFT system that all financial activities go off of, that America dominates, it's a dinosaur.
Sure.
Right. And when times get rough, right, you find out who your true friends are.
Absolutely. And
I have to imagine right now, OPEC, who's supposed to be an ally, all the other Middle Eastern nations that are supposed to be an ally, and I'm starting to question, like, I wonder how Europe is feeling towards America right now, because we're drowning their economy out, and they're begging for help. Mm-hmm. And on November 2nd or 3rd, when the Feds meet again, we'll know a lot then, because are we going to help them or are we not?
Right.
So there's so many moving pieces here that you're going to see the world change.
Mm-hmm.
Our enemies are going for our jugulars right now. We open the door with financial warfare. Mm-hmm. I'm finding out Russia's not alone right now. Like they're teaming up with pretty powerful entities that are desperate as well. So it's all very interesting. And I think the end game to this, as far as opportunity, would be get your hands on Bitcoin while it's cheap.
Yeah, and just to go back to some of the things you just said about Europe, it's one thing for us to theorize and sort of look to crypto as being an investment opportunity. But we also have to realize that stuff that's going on in Europe with the winter coming and a lack of energy resources. I mean, this is like real life and death, right? Like this is, it's the crypto stuff is fun. And it's, like you said, it's a bit of a soap opera, but I'll tell you what, we're going to have, them looking for help is not so much financial as it is just survival, and that's scary, because if it can happen there, it can happen here. It doesn't take but 6 months of the wrong people doing the wrong things, and we're in that same boat. So
that's totally scary. You're right.
Yeah.
And I hope this is where it stays. I hope it stays on financial warfare, weaponization of energy, stuff like that. Mm-hmm. But you could see one wrong move from one wrong player set this whole thing into a a real war. Like
Yeah.
for example, the pipeline that goes into Europe from Russia.
Mm-hmm.
It was bombed a couple weeks ago,
I know.
which completely shut it down.
Mm-hmm.
And if you know anything about that pipeline, it had to be done by a submarine or a
Right.
very like high end technical ability, because it's like 300 or 500 feet down in the ocean. So,
Mm-hmm.
and it's a very thick pipeline. Like you couldn't just set a firecracker on it. It would have to be a massive explosion.
Yeah, it wasn't. Yeah, for sure.
So that was a statement made by somebody.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it was Russia or who, or we don't know yet, but when that comes out, that'll be pretty devastating. But there are warlike activities happening right now.
Yeah.
And it doesn't take much to set things off. Like, I don't know Putin's mindset, but he's got endless nuclear weapons, right? India's highly nuclear. China's highly nuclear. We're highly nuclear. And desperate countries do desperate things.
Well, and Putin has already said he's willing to use them under the right circumstances. There's also rumors, and I don't know how much. I haven't really done a deep dive into, but I've seen some articles in the past couple weeks about his health. And if you're on the way out and you're looking to settle some scores, who's to say? So it's crazy. But going back to the crypto thing before we sort of wrap up. So obviously, you mentioned Bitcoin and that having a sort of an upswing effect on this, where things are playing out. Do you think that'll trickle down into other cryptocurrency also, or do you think are these countries really sort of honing in on Bitcoin, or is it just sort of crypto in general?
100%, it'll trickle down.
I thought
Bitcoin's the main player on this stage.
Yeah.
But anything that's good for Bitcoin is good for all of crypto. If you see Bitcoin go to 100,000 or $1 million, you will see the whole crypto market follow it, right? Like,
sure.
Because the technology, right? Like BRICS isn't taking advantage of Bitcoin. They're taking advantage of Bitcoin's technology.
Right.
The fact that it's unstoppable, uncensorable, right? America doesn't have the ability to stop you sending Bitcoin across the globe. They just don't. And that technology is what they're taking advantage of. And blockchain technology is just so deep. It goes so much further than that.
Right.
And I know, what's that really nice country in the Middle East where all the rich people live?
Dubai?
Right.
Yeah.
Dubai has become extremely crypto savvy. Like they're trying to become like the crypto hub of the world.
Sure.
And there are other places in the world like this too. Like Texas is trying to do this.
Right.
Last week, a senator from Mexico said that, hey, look, we're trying very hard to make Bitcoin legal tender. Like,
wow.
These things are happening so fast, and it's such an opportunity for anybody on the sidelines. Because I promise you, during the bull run, if any of this was being said, Bitcoin would be at $300,000 right now.
No doubt.
But none of that was being said then. It's being said now when no one's looking, right?
Right. Which is where the opportunity lies, perhaps.
100%.
Yeah, I mean we've talked about buying the dip. This is why you buy the dip, because the slingshot at some point is going to just send you through the stratosphere. So
can you just imagine how fast Bitcoin will move if BRICS came out tomorrow and said, here's our basket of goods, the yuan, the ruble, the blah 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 blah, and Bitcoin and gold.
Yep.
You would wake up, like if it happened while I was asleep, I would wake up to a $300,000 Bitcoin. Like
well, that'll be a very fun episode to record. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, cool, man. I appreciate you taking some time. This is scary, but maybe there's some silver linings out there too. Particularly if you're going to play the game and be in it for the long haul, which I know a lot of us are. So appreciate you taking some time. We'll do another one very, very soon.
John, as always, I appreciate you, man.
All right. Take care, my friend.
You too.